starting and hello everyone and welcome to the Conversations with Actors and Artists. I'm with you as always, Ilya Davydov. Today we have a wonderful TV presenter, good friend, Astronut, our beloved and unequally Paul Baverstock.
Oh,
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Just so you know, I can't see anyone else at the moment. I've just got a copy of your screen, which seems to be just me.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct? Is that how it's supposed to be?
Okay. Tell us about your short film Astronaut, yes, and have you shown your acting talents announced it? Yes?
I got the beginning part about Astronaut. That
Mm-hmm.
was a film I did quite some time ago now, about 10 years ago. It was one of the first short films I did after my training, and it was with a young filmmaker in the UK. He's gone now on to make a few different films and a feature film, one of which I think is even on Amazon at the moment. So yeah, it's one of his early projects. He was sort of cutting his teeth and wanted to try out some interesting camera shots and things that he knew and work with some other people. And it was for a short film festival. There's two versions of it. There's a shorter version that's 5 minutes long, because that was the maximum length for that competition. And then he released a slightly longer version, which is how he wanted to do it. And I think you've seen the longer version, and that's the one that I shared online. Um, but no, it was good fun. It was quite unusual. It was only one person in it when he cast myself, and it was meant to be sort of light-hearted and a bit comic. And I mean, it is somewhat ridiculous. He flies to the moon or flies to Mars in a cardboard rocket, which is absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, it was good fun.
Okay. Tell us about Oyer. Okay, sorry. What do you think? Uh, what do you think? Um Sorry.
Quite all right.
So, what do you think? What does sometimes happen that the project was a good one, but not popular?
Well, I think for what it was good. I mean, I don't know about how things are in other countries or in Russia, but I'm sure there are some things similar. You get people who have film competitions, and all right, they're not a particular, they're quite a unique or niche thing anyway. So even if you win the competition, not many people would have heard about it. And then part of the rules of the competition is you can't show it for a certain amount of time while he's an entry. So well, I was quite pleased with it, and I think he was pleased with it. He got what he wanted from it, which was a bit more recognition for what he could do, and that led on for him doing other things. And all right, he gave me a copy of the film, so I can share it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't think many people saw it just because it was quite a niche thing, and he didn't particularly want to publicise it after he'd made it. He did a release at the time, and it might have been partly because of the rules of the competition that he wasn't allowed to show it at the time, when he was a live entry, as it were. But no, he was quite pleased with it. He's done some beautiful photography in it, or the director of photography does this lovely arcing crane shot with a jib. It was actually quite difficult to make. It was on a freezing cold night, and we were all up on this roof. And the roof is covered in ice, which was a bit worrying because obviously if any of us slip, we're going to break an arm or something and fall from his house. So we had to constantly, between takes, be sweeping the roof with a broom, get all the water off it, get all the ice off it. So it was broadly safe. It was very cold, but it was a lovely shot when he got it, and it only takes like 2-3 seconds. It's this big arc from one position to another and out into the night sky. That's probably the best shot in the whole film, to be honest. But from my point of view, it's just about trying to do a comedic performance. So, yeah, that certainly, I think, plays to my strengths. Most of the things I've played have been sort of funny characters in some way or another. I don't get to do realism or seriousness that much, which was a nice change of pace for me when I did not broadcast, at least one scene at least. So yeah, I'm pleased enough with it myself, and I think it did what it was supposed to. So the fact that not many people see it, it is a bit of a shame, I suppose, but that was the filmmaker's decision, how he wanted to release it or not release it, as the case might be.
Okay, I understand. Which is better, sketches or short films? Sketches is small video.
As in, what do I like, sketches or short films? I like doing both. I like getting work, to be quite honest. So, for me personally, if I was going to make something, I feel a bit more comfortable writing sketches than something more I perceive as more serious, I suppose, as a short film. Although they can be effectively comic things as well. But certainly if I was talking to somebody else about what I would like to do, if I was going to write it as well as be in it, I'd be more likely to do sketches or comedic things. Because that's just what personally interests me if I'm going to create something myself. In regards to being in things, if I like the story or the script, I don't really mind. I like doing sketches usually because they're funny and they're fun, and therefore it's a fun set to work on. But, all right, even doing serious stuff, it can still be a fun atmosphere, although it may not come across on screen, or hopefully it won't come across on screen if it's a serious moment. But in regards to being in somebody else's project, I don't really mind. I don't really have a preference.
Close but not cigar. This was your first experience in a feature film which a subtitle role. Yes.
Was that my first film, effectively, or feature-length film? Almost. Technically, I was in another film called Hard and Soft, and it was actually about a story about a lady who was an illegal immigrant, and she had managed to get into the United Kingdom and created her own life, and it was a love story between her and somebody met along the way. One of my friends was playing one of the principal roles in that film, and then I think they had some issue with one of their other cast, and they need to recast at short notice. So technically the first film that I was in, or full-length film, was this film, when I played an accountant. And I had a couple of lines, and that was half a day's work. But in regards to the film you mentioned, that was Close But No Cigar. Very strangely, the same actor, and this is a complete coincidence, the same actor I'd done my scene in the film that I just told you about was the lead in this film as well. So when I got cast in it several weeks later, and obviously met everyone to start filming, it was like, oh, it's you! I remember you from the last film we worked on. So that was a bit of a surprising and pleasant coincidence. But those films actually, it's two joint directors, Will and Tom Hutt, and they found me online, liked my showreel, asked me to record a scene and tape it and send it in. And it was really nice, actually. They liked what I did, so they wrote an extra scene because they liked what I did with the character. So that was really, really nice and really flattering, and I was pleased to do it. They at the time didn't have any kind of distribution set up, so I had no idea whether anyone would ever really see the film. But then about a year to 18 months, maybe even slightly longer after they finished it, they managed to sell it to an American firm, and they've put it on Amazon. So that's great. It's annoyingly I can't watch it in my own country because that wasn't part of the distribution deal. But I'm not sure whether you can watch it in Russia. I know I watched it by using a VPN to hide my location. And then I said I was in the States, so then I could watch it. So you can get around it, and it is on Amazon if anyone wants to check that out. And that was a lot of fun.
What do you expect from the third episode of Not For Broadcast?
The final episode.
Yeah.
Was that? Sorry, you broke up. What do I think will happen in the last episode?
No. What do you expect from the third final episode of Not For Broadcast?
What do I think will happen in the final episode of Not For Broadcast? Is that what you said?
Possible.
Well, obviously I can't say, but I think it'll be more twists, and I think whatever side you fell on in the first two episodes, whether you were with the government or whether you were with the resistance, as most people refer it to as.
Yeah.
The great thing about the game is you get different endings, and I'm sure if you are very much a fan of one side or the other, and that has caused you to make choices with that in mind, I think you'll both get a surprise, and I think you'll both get, hopefully, an ending that you liked. I know they've started filming it this month for the final episode, so two exciting things for the new year, for January, will be one, it should be finished, and then for everyone who's got it on there through Steam, will get that final episode and get into playing it straight away. And I think at that point they're hoping to put it out on a console, so things like Xbox or PlayStation, and they'll start talking about it as just one complete story and just putting it on the market as one complete entity. In which case, that's probably when they'll be back in touch for me to help promote it. But we will see. I can't really say anything more about what's going to happen. But I think all concerned will be interested. And if you've, I think you'll see a nice cameo from everyone who's been in the earlier episodes. They'll find a way, I think, to work us all in at some point if you've seen it previously. Depending obviously on your choices. So I think it'd be really interesting for a lot of people to see the final episode, and I think it should be good.
Okay, I understand. What films would you like to star in? And was there such a dream to star in exactly the film that you want?
What sort of films would I like to be in, or what films would I like to have been in? Sorry. I can't actually see you right now, so I haven't got your face to help work out what you were saying.
So, a question from subscribers or fans. Yes, I found it. And question to Paul. Hello, Paul. How do you feel about what is begin writing about your character, or will write fan fiction where, for example, a love story between Jeremy and Jenny develops, or where you or your character is in the role of a superhero who saves the world?
I hadn't haven't come across that, to be perfectly honest. That is a new one. I did see a very short piece of fan fiction where I turned into a werewolf, which was very strange
Yes.
or surprising. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, it was generally nice and complimentary. It was just a surprise that they went that way with it. But I wasn't familiar with the one you've just told me. I've got nothing against it. I haven't heard it or I haven't come across it. But obviously, Jeremy and Jenny have a very strong relationship. I think I personally think it's a platonic relationship. I don't think anything has happened between them, and I don't think it probably would have either. Obviously, depending on how you played the game, it really can't happen now. But yeah, but Jenny has a lot of affection for Jeremy, and I think he reciprocates it to some degree. So from that, obviously, you can use your own imagination or build on that or think in your own mind about what that could be. In regards to being a superhero, well, that would be fantastic, but I certainly hadn't thought about being a superhero. Again, that's a bit of an interesting sidestep from the original idea, because I think all the characters in the game are very much flawed human beings. There's certainly nothing particularly super about them. They're just normal people with quirks and various flaws, as hopefully some good qualities too. But yeah, if they enjoy writing it, good luck to them. I think that sounds fun.
Thanks for the questions, Daria Felsman. So, two questions from Arina Shiroka. So, were there any funny moments during the recording? If so, what are the most interesting ones?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pick out particular ones, mainly because for me, the scenes I was on, a whole day was usually an enjoyable day. It was fun. The rest of the cast are great. All the principals that I work with, Andrea Valls, who plays Megan, Adam Willis, who's Tommy Harris, Sarah Gibbons, who plays Jenny, of course, who I spend a lot of time talking to, George, who plays Patrick Bannon. They're all fun people. So it's nice to. There's a nice atmosphere on set, and then most of the time we're just making jokes and talking to each other. Nothing, thankfully, particularly went wrong. One, I think his name's Dijon, the guy who plays Jesus. That's probably the most memorable thing I have. He's fantastic at it. He's really good. He got so into character though, and this has been the height of the pandemic, and we've just opened up enough to shoot, and he was very method. He really channeled perhaps his disappointment with our own government into his character at that moment. And we were doing a take, and he got so carried away with the anger when he bursts out and talks about how he's annoyed with Disrupt. He said Britain's Prime Minister instead of the fictional one in the game. And yeah, that was quite funny. That amused me. And obviously, as soon as you've broken the world and reverted to your own, we couldn't use that, and we had to cut. But it was funny. And he's just great. And he's so good at his character, the singing, the movement. I mean, he's got a lot of pressure. We've just done a whole scene, and that's gone well when the take we used, and then he's got to go into his song and nail that. Otherwise, we're going all the way back to the beginning, and he did it brilliantly. He did a couple of takes actually, just so the directors had a few different ones to choose from. But he was on it. He was really, really good, and that was a funny moment though when he went into calling out our Prime Minister rather than the game's Prime Minister. So that amused me.
questions from Misha Mitchev. Uh, if you are offered to star in various DLC, possibly second parts of the game, will you agree?
I think I got the gist of that question. You broke up a little bit in the middle. Were you asking, or
What?
maybe, Ilya, you could type it in the notes so I can make sure I got the question right. Um, yeah, were you asking if I'd be upset if I'm not in the final part of the game, or I didn't quite hear the whole question. Could you repeat the question? Or type out the question in Discord so I can see it.
Okay. And how do you feel about the concepts of not for broadcast? Because it is, uh, yes.
The concept is an excellent concept, but that question, obviously, I didn't. That last question, I still didn't hear it very clearly. Was that it, or do you want to write it so I've got it and I'll answer it for you if you write it out?
Okay. The next question from from Anton Voskovich. How you feel about even small but still fan-made creativity on that podcast?
Yeah, I think it's okay. 2 secs. What do you think? Could you repeat that, please?
Repeat.
Yes, repeat.
How do you feel about even small but still fan-made creativity on not for broadcast?
Oh, sorry. How do I feel about the sort of the fan base that the game has built up and yeah, they're great. It's been so nice to hear positive comments and support from all over the place, really. Obviously, particularly we get a lot of positive reaction from Russia and China, and we never really foresaw that. So it's lovely. It's great. It's so nice to see to obviously be so well received. We wouldn't have thought of it particularly, and it's great. It's really nice that you've taken to the game so much and said lots of nice positive things. So we're very flattered and very pleased.
And one funny question from Eliza Alexeyeva. Yes. Hello, would you like to know how you feel about the fact that some fans have created a religion about you?
Created what about me?
It's very, very strange.
I think again the connection isn't great, so I hear most of a question and then an important part I miss just at the end. So I'm sort of slightly guessing about what you're asking. Again, the way people have responded positively to Jeremy and the character and how I do him, pretty much all the feedback I've got has been very kind and positive, and if people like him and like to do drawing, like to dress up as him, like certain phrases or lines from the show, which obviously was the writers, not me, but I say them. I can feel the love that they have towards the character, and it's great. It's really nice. Thank you.
Okay. Then we'll finish. Yes. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Paul Baverstock. And bye bye. So.
Bye bye. Thank you for speaking to me today. It was nice to have this conversation, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Goodbye.